Greetings, everybody. Welcome to week 4. This is your weekly walkthrough for ENC1101, and we're going to take a look at what's happening this week. You have submitted your first paper. Yay, round of applause for yourselves. I'll be grading those over the next week or so. So, be on the lookout. When you get a grade back in your grade book, you will be able to click on the link and see all the feedback as well as the rubric and how you scored in each category of the rubric. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Just as a quick reminder, when you are in your own account, if you click on grades, you will see all of the assignments. Now, obviously, this is a sample student. There's nothing turned in yet. But when you get feedback, there'll be a score over here, and then you'll be able to click and say, okay, I want to know how I did on the getting to know you assignment, and it will open up the full thing for you. So if there's a rubric, the rubric will show. If I've left a audio comment, there's an audio comment, whatever. However I gave you the feedback will be right there. So if you need any help finding that once those grades are in, feel free to let me know. But that's where it's located. If you click on the grades link, it will take you to where you need to be. All right. Okay. So as usual, let's take a look at where we are. As I just mentioned, we are going to, we turned in the personal narrative as well as done grammar review number 1. Hopefully you enjoyed that and it went well. I haven't looked at the scores on that yet, but hopefully that went well. Then this week, we are starting basically a new module. So read module 2, and that's from the Lumen Learning system. You're going to be reading about using sources, and also module 3, which is about definition, because our next paper is the definition paper. So this week, just like we had the pattern before, this week you're going to be learning about what a definition paper is, what it looks like, and you're going to be doing the pre-writing for that definition paper. And then it will be due, excuse me, at the end of week 5. So let's go ahead and take a look at the module and see what all you have to access. We are, like I said, in week 4. So we click on the learning materials. Here's a link to the Lumen Learning. You will read 2 of the modules, 2 and 3, and then definition as a writing mode. And then, of course, we have the videos. So this is also, in addition to talking about definition, it's also getting us prepared to utilize sources in our writing, because for the definition paper, you're going to be including some research. And so this is kind of the first step along this. Whenever you are incorporating research into your own writing, there's really 3 ways that we do it. Quoting directly, like here's the quotation, here's what they said, here's exactly how they said it. Paraphrasing, which of course is putting it in your own words. And then finally summarizing, where you may have read a giant article and you just boil it down to like the most essential point, or you're reading a whole chapter out of a book and you're just including kind of the overview. So these are skills that do not come naturally to people. I will warn you in advance, it is not something that comes naturally. We are going to be creating a works cited page for this upcoming paper. So we're going to get a head start on that. And then you're going to be practicing that incorporation in the definition essay. The definition essay can also include some stories from your own life, but you are going to have to include at least some things from secondary sources or from research. So let's take a look at that assignment. In fact, let me go back to the module. For the pre-writing, of course, it's done in the quiz form, just like you did with the pre-writing on the personal narrative. But I'm going to go through the questions with this, and then we're going to take a look at the actual assignment for the definition essay, which of course is linked right here. In this particular case, it's set up very much the same. You're going to have kind of some, what could I write about? Notice that we do have terms to pick from: success, courage, happiness, resilience, freedom, and integrity. So you're going to think about at least 3 of those that you might be interested in. Then you're going to pick one and do some pre-writing to start fleshing out your topic. And of course, you can use any pre-writing technique. A lot of you last time did some brainstorming and some free writing. Some of you were mind mapping, whatever works for you. There's plenty of techniques that you can use. You are going to write your preliminary thesis statement. So feel free, of course, as I mentioned last time, you can write the whole paragraph if you want. Sometimes it's helpful to write the paragraph and not just focus on the thesis statement, because that can be a little bit daunting. But the final sentence should be your thesis. In this particular case, it will be something along the lines of resilience is an important term to understand, something along those lines. And then in the body, you will explore the various aspects of that term. 4 is the outline. Now, I have not asked you to include your sources yet, but you can. In your outline, in fact, I think it's a good idea. In your outline, you can talk about, okay, well, first I'm going to use the dictionary definition of resilience. And then where did you get the dictionary definition from? You can include that in your outline. That's going to help flesh out things down the road. So the more planning you do, the more time you spend on the planning and including those kinds of things, the better, because of course, that's going to save you time next week when you are putting the paper itself together. Okay. So that's what it looks like, the pre-writing quiz. Let's take a look at the actual assignment. All right. So the definition essay, you're going to write a definition essay that explores and explains the meaning of one of the following terms through your personal experiences, stories, and examples. Additionally, incorporate research from at least 3 documented sources to support your definition. Your essay should be at least 750 words and follow MLA format and documentation guidelines. We're going to get more into what that means. MLA format, you already know because you set up a paper that way. Documentation, we're going to get more into that next week, but I am going to get you started thinking about how to keep notes, how to take stock so that when you do the research, you are keeping track of the things that you need to keep track of and including them if you want to in that pre-writing. You can say in this chapter or in this paragraph, I'm going to write about this from this source, et cetera, et cetera. So success, courage, happiness, resilience, freedom, or integrity are your choices. Your essay itself is going to be about 3 pages long, so a minimum of 750 words. You are going to have the MLA formatting guidelines. So same thing we did last time with the way the paper is set up. And then this time you're going to have a works cited page and internal citations for where you have used the sources. In some cases, you might want to quote the source directly. In other cases, you may want to paraphrase it or summarize it, but you're still going to indicate where that source is used. And we do that through what we call in-text citations. We're going to learn a lot more about those next week, but again, I'm going to give you some kind of a start here for that. These can include scholarly articles, books, or other credible sources. Many of you are probably going to use websites for this particular assignment, and that's okay. But we are going to get further and further away from the internet and more into library resources. So again, I'll give you a little bit of a kind of boost introduction to that this week as well. Your essay should include a clear introduction with a thesis statement, well-organized body that explores different aspects of the term, and of course, a conclusion that ties everything together. In the body, now, last time in the pre-writing, I did point out to some people who had like a perfect, like little 5-paragraph essay thing going. You are probably not going to have exactly 3 body paragraphs because you're going to do multiple things. One is you're going to share stories or examples from your own life that illustrate your understanding of the term. You're going to give different perspectives, which you can get from sources, from other people. In fact, you could even talk to some of your friends and family if you want to. You can document that, and you can just name them in the paper and say, according to my mom, freedom means blah 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 blah. Like you can do that, and I can show you how to do that if you wanted to include some information like that. You're going to analyze the term by breaking it down into its key components. what are the essential qualities or characteristics that define it, and then, of course, supporting evidence, research from at least 3 documented sources. These could be stories that other people have told. They could also be official definitions from dictionaries and or encyclopedias, things of that nature. All right, so the due date, of course, is at the end of week 5 for this paper. You should save it as a Word document and upload it to Canvas. And I will say, because I got several questions from not only your class, but the mixed mode class as well, I will warn you that sometimes when you put a Word document into the, like where you go to turn it in fact, let me show you. When we upload a file, and I'm just going to pick a random file somewhere from my computer. Let's do the sample narrative. And we click submit assignment. Several of you had some worries and freaked out a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't I do it? Where's it at? Okay. Several of you noticed that it looked different in your preview window because the header wasn't in the right place or anything. Don't worry about that. If this is a Word document, it will sometimes mess up the formatting on that view. It will not mess up the formatting in your actual file. So feel free to do that. Several people ask if they could do it in PDF form instead because that looks correct. That's fine. The reason most of the time instructors ask you to turn things in Word format, though, is because we sometimes will save it in Word on our own computer and use the marked changes to make corrections and things for you. So always do Word if you can, but I understand why people panic sometimes and get a little concerned about that. So, you know, I get it. All right, so let's go to conducting some research. So one of the things that you can look ahead in next week's module, let's go ahead and take a look at that if you want to take a preview of some of the things. We have Model 3 on definition, or this is just a reminder. Oh, I do need to put some more, I'm going to make myself a note. I'm going to put some more materials in there for the documentation stuff. But I'm going to show you a lot of what you need to know right now. All right. So when you are documenting sources, the main things that you want to make sure that you do is keep track of where you got what information and make sure that you don't accidentally plagiarize by either not citing your source or by including the exact wording or close to the exact wording without showing that it's a direct quote. When we paraphrase something or put it in our own words, we really need to completely change the sentence structure, everything. And we still will cite who that came from. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a basic dictionary definition of one of these terms. So I'm going to go to dictionary.com. So it's a perfectly good dictionary. And let's put in resilience. All right. So here is the dictionary definition of resilience. The power or ability of a material to return to its original form, position, etc. That's not what we're talking about, of course, with resilience here. But we are talking about number 2, the ability of a person to adjust or recover readily from illness, adversity, major life changes, etc. So if I wanted to include a quotation from dictionary.com for this term, this is the one that I would include. So I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to open a Word document. I like to keep everything in a Word document, even if it's just my note taking. So I will show you kind of a good way to do that. I have to share that screen with you as well. So let me get that open. All right. So if I know that I'm writing a definition paper, I am going to use this document as my definition notes. Okay, this is not my final version of the paper. This is not set up in MLA format yet, but these are going to be my notes for this particular assignment. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to include a dictionary.com definition for resilience, and I'm going to put this down as a quotation because I did copy it. It's literally the same words that they used. So this is what I would include in my notes. When I go to include it in my paper, I may not quote it directly, but I like to have the direct quote because then I can pull from that, and I don't accidentally reword something to where it's almost like the original. So it's just helpful to me. Now, the other thing that you want to do whenever you are finding resources is you want to have a running works cited. Okay, so we're going to insert a page break, and I am going to set this up already for an MLA works cited page, and I will give you this file so that you can use it if you want as a kind of a template. So we need double spacing. So I'm going to hit, go back to the home here, and I want double spacing. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to click on no spacing and then change to double spacing because I want just plain double spacing, nothing else. And then in the center, we're going to use the heading works cited. And then we're going to go back to the regular margin. Now, one of the things that is tricky is when we create a works cited list or any kind of bibliography, we have to use what's called a hanging indent. And there's a couple of ways that you can accomplish this. The quickest and easiest for me is always to utilize the ruler, which you see is visible. If your ruler is not turned on, you may have to go to view and say, I want to see the ruler. On this one, there it is. It's already checked. So if this was not checked and I couldn't see the ruler, I could click on that. Okay. So that's one way to do it. And in order to do a hanging indent, we're going to click on the bottom triangle, not where it says left margin. First line. Nope. You got to be delicate with it. Okay. It's not. Okay. There it is. It's grabbed it. And move it over to the 1/2 inch mark and let it go. So what happens when you do that is until you hit enter, you will notice that it's the opposite of a paragraph. Everything beyond the first line is indented. Paragraph is the opposite, right? All right. So let me show you the other way to do that though. Let me put this back the way it was, and we're going to go back to the home screen. We're going to click on, I always forget where it is on the screen. Let's see. No. Okay, well, let me just tell you the other way to do it. You can go into the paragraph menu, and one of the indent choices is a hanging indent. So if you need help with the technological stuff, feel free to reach out. But the other thing that you can do, and Word is pretty good about this, is I can click on this and search for hanging indent, and it's going to take me, well, that's for the document itself. What do I want? I want the actual help menu. Okay. So I can go to Word help and I can type in, and you may not be seeing this. I don't think you are. I'm going to turn that off, but use the help menu. The other thing, of course, that you can do, and I am a big fan of going to YouTube and looking up how to do things, honestly, because it's super helpful. All right. So we are going to put an entry in for that dictionary.com. So what I need is I need to get the web address for it, and I'm going to then look up how to cite this particular source. Now, with websites and in MLA, the best, where did it go? Did I get rid of it? Oh, no, there it is. The best source to use for that is probably easybib.com. There's also information in the library materials on how to cite sources, but for websites, it's super easy. So I'm going to open another browser window and I'm going to put in easybib.com. Now it's probably going to make me watch an ad because I am way too cheap to pay for these kinds of things, but you choose your source. In this case, it's a website. Oh, and try it for free. Okay. Okay. Why is my computer stuck? Oh, page unresponsive. Oh, that's not good. Choose your source website. Okay. Did I copy? I did not. Let me double check. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste the web address right here. I don't know why this is taking so long. Another website that I like to use is scribber.com, but they specialize more in APA citations. Okay, there we go. Search. All right, and then it will say, is this the one you mean? This is the one I mean. So click on the cite button. And then it will give you information. It will also ask you if there's anything that they need. Here's what we'll need your help with, publisher or sponsor. You don't need to fill anything in there or the date published unless there was a date published, and I don't think there was. No, there's not. So we're going to just continue. And again, we're going to wait. The bad part about easybib.com is it is a little ad heavy, so that may be why it's taking so long. I don't know. I usually get faster results, but I'm also usually on a different internet, so we will see. In the meantime, let me show you in the library where to find this same exact information. So valenciacollege.edu, we want to go to, I'm going to log into Atlas. Probably going to have to authenticate, you know, as one does. And one of the main things on the main page is search the library. Notice below that, 2 links below that are the MLA, APA, and Chicago style guides. That is where you would find the information to manually create your works cited entry. And honestly, it's a good idea to figure that out, to learn how to do it on your own. But here are the citation guides. The brand new MLA 9th edition is out. So I'm going to click on that and it will show me exactly how to do it. It is not going to do it for you, which is, of course, one of the benefits if you can get your internet to work to do the citations for you on EasyBib. But this is still not cooperating. So I'm just going to go do it. All right, so we need to know how to do the full citation for a website. So we're going to click on Full Citation Basics, and we're going to scroll down until we find kind of what we are looking for. So the supplemental elements, the core elements and supplemental elements. When citing a source, look for the core elements and use the ones that are relevant to your source. Any of the core elements can be skipped if they're not present, except for the title of the source. We do not have an author, for example. We do have a title of the source, which is the term resilience. We then also have a container, which is the website dictionary.com. We do not have a contributor or anything else other than the website, which is the number 9, the location. Okay. So we're going to use this to create this citation. All right. So with an author, we would have last name, first name. We do not have that. So we're going to use the title and the source. And we do have capitalization and punctuation rules. So in my Word document, I'm going to put the term resilience in quotation marks because it is a part of something larger title. The next element is going to be dictionary.com. And that's in italics because it's the source. And then we don't have a lot of the other things, but we do have the location. So in this particular case, it's going to be that website address, which I already have in my stuff. Let me come in here, and there it is. All right. So that's it. That's my whole citation. Now, when I quote from that in my document, I'm going to need to know what comes first in the works cited entry, which in this case is not an author's name. It's resilience in quotation marks. So I'm going to put this right now the way that it would if I was using this in my essay. It's going to have a parenthetical because it's a parenthetical citation. It's going to say resilience. And then it's going to have the closed parentheses and a period. Okay. There is how it will look cited in my paper itself. So the two things go together. The in-text citation is just a really quick shorthand that explains which source on the works cited is the one that we're looking at. Okay. So that's why it always includes what comes first. All right, let's get a library source. The benefit, one of the many benefits of using sources that are directly from the library is that you are going to be getting the citations. They are provided for you. So we're going to go back to search the library. I don't know why it's making me sign in again, but it is. And we are going to put in definition of resilience, just because I want to kind of already narrow it down to the sort of thing that I can find. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. There's, in fact, 3,300, almost 3,400 entries. I don't need a whole article necessarily about what resilience is, but let's say I wanted to find an example of resilience, and maybe someone's story. Okay, so here's an interesting one. Centenarians, an excellent example of resilience for successful aging. So I might want to include some stories about some of these older people and what they have to say about resilience. This one is an example of resilience from a peer-reviewed journal, from the Journal of the Louisiana State Medical Society. Emotional well-being and resilience, theoretical perspectives and practical applications. This is along the lines of the kind of thing that I might want to use. So I'm just going to pick one. In fact, let me pick that one. It's a book. So we are looking at a whole ebook online, but we don't have to go get it out of the library, which is nice. When we open it up, you'll see that there's 8 chapters. It gives you all the editors and the information. To view it, you click on that link and it will allow you to read the whole thing online. The other thing that it will do is provide you with the citation. So I'm going to click on the citation first. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that and put it in my works cited. Oops, except it did not do my it changed things. That's weird. Okay, we're gonna put there we go. And we need the hanging indent. There we go. All right. You will notice that there are some weird spacing. Like, for example, this is supposed to be in italics and it didn't keep it in italics. So I'm going to make that italics. This is also supposed to be in italics. And then the spacing is very weird. You can just leave it that way. But the other thing that you can do is put, occasionally if you put a space in, it will divide it up for you in a way that makes more sense, and then it looks a little better, whatever. This isn't our final version anyway, but we have it here. So as you can see here, because what's first is the book title, in this particular case, we're going to be citing the book and not a particular author. There's probably authors within the text, which would mean that we're going to cite those individual authors. So let's go take a look, so I can show you guys how to do that as well. Let's do read online. And let's see if there's a author listed. Nope, there's no authors listed for the individual chapters. So you would really just use the title of the book in the in it. So that's pretty cool. Let's say let's just pick something from this chapter that we might want to look at. I don't know why it's not giving me the whole thing. Oh, there we go. Okay. Community resilience of place identity, resilience and well-being in sports. That one seems interesting. Oh, okay. So here we have the individual authors. So if we wanted to cite something from this chapter, we are going to have another entry, and we're going to use these people as the authors of that. This was where it was originally published. We don't need to have that. We're going to show it in this book, but we're going to have the authors here. I'm going to cheat and copy this text because it is hard to remember how to spell all those things. And I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to paste it for a second. Nope, I didn't. Nope, it didn't copy. Shoot. Okay. So I would need the author's last names. Junar Carr. What was the first name? Mohita. And then the next two people would not be name reversed. So Sanjeev P. Sani. And the last person is Shivjot Gill. The next thing I need is the article title, or in this case, the chapter title, which was Resilience and Well-Being in Sports. Notice that all of the important words are capitalized. MLA uses old-fashioned title capitalization. And then we're just going to include this. So and then we put the rest of it in there. Okay. I need to fix the, oh. There we go. Nope. Aptos, and I believe it's 12. And it should be black. Okay. So one of the reasons like I like to do this live and in front of you is because I don't remember every single thing about how to do these either, and I have to stop and look things up as I'm finding them. But if you find them and you use them right then, if you create this right now, you will create a much better time when you go to cite this later because you will already have the citation. Now, if I'm going to cite something, so let me say that I want to resilience and well-being are two prominent factors vigorously. I don't think it's going to let me copy this. Maybe. Okay, let's see. Okay. So we do have to use the copy feature here. So let's put this up here in our notes. And this gave me my whole citation. I don't need the whole citation here. I'm going to include what would go in the in-text citation, just like I did before. So this is a direct quote. So I'm going to put quotation marks around it, get rid of that period. And then we're going to use the author's names. So not the editor's names, but the author's names, which were, let's just get them here. I'm going to copy all of this and get rid of what I don't need. In the in-text citation, it would have all three, oh, shoot. It will have all three of their names. There we go. But it will only have their last names. So we're going to get rid of everything else. And it will also have, because this is an ebook, oh, got a lot of extra stuff in there. Because it is an ebook, we are going to insert the page number as well. So this was on page 267 in the original text. So we will put 267. You will not have a lot of page numbers, but if it's available, you do want to include it. So that's what that's going to look like. And so if you do this as you're taking notes, as you're finding things that you think you want to use, if you will spend the extra time to do this week, it will save you a lot of time next week when you go to actually incorporate this information into your work. Again, if you're citing things from the web, there are other places besides EasyBib. Let me see if I can find a citation generator that is actually working. Mybib.com, Scribber. I like Scribber. It's one of my favorites. And it does give you MLA too. I use it for APA a lot. So when I pull it up just by the website, it's kind of already in APA. But let's say we want to go back to Google, and let's say celebrity example of resilience. And let's research somebody. Oprah, there you go. 10 plus famous resilient women you need to know about. I like this article. Let's use this article. I don't necessarily want to write about Oprah, but this sounds like a great thing. We've got a bunch of people to choose from. And this is a web-based article. So I need to copy the web address and paste it into my citation generator. And here is my reference entry. It is already, nope. It gave me APA. I don't want APA. Okay. I want MLA. Thank you. There we go. Okay. We did get it. However, there's an error here. And you wouldn't necessarily know this. If you used it this way, nothing bad is going to happen to you, but I am going to show you how to fix it. Okay. So let's copy this. Let's paste it in. Oops. We want it on the works cited. I'm going to use paste, but I'm going to put match formatting because I want italics to stay italics. However, these are italics that should not be italicized. This is the article title. So in MLA, that should actually be in quotation marks. So we're going to fix it. I don't think EasyBib would have done this wrong, but I don't know that for sure. Look, until we get used to it, we may get some of these wrong, and that's going to be okay. Because it doesn't come naturally for anybody, not even me, as you can see. Now, what is missing here is the actual website title, which does get italics, and that's LinkedIn. I don't know why that's missing. Again, I usually use Scribber for APA, so I don't know if they're just bad at it. In fact, let's look at another one, just out of curiosity. Free MLA let's do citation generator, and let's try my bib. Okay, so we can paste the web address in. It does have to have the HTTP in front of it, of course, just to be annoying. All right. International Women's Day. That's the right one. And we want MLA 9. So we click on that, and there is my citation. Okay, that looks correct. So let's copy this one. Notice though, it gave it a completely different title. Oh, so the good news is that even if you don't get something 100% right, you probably have it right enough. We're gonna show that even within 2 sites, and this we don't need anymore. So that's an outdated piece that they haven't updated. Here's the thing, on this first paper, do your best. Okay, do your best. That's all I have to say. We're going to keep working on it. We'll get better and better at it as we go through all of the papers. Now, ultimately, this list is going to be in alphabetical order. It is not currently in alphabetical order, but because this is just my notes, I may not end up using some of these sources. And if I don't end up using one of them, I don't need to put it on my final version of my works cited. So I typically will not do anything until I'm ready to turn the paper in. I can, like I said, I'm going to save this for you guys. Definition notes sample with works cited. And I will give this to you in the announcement with the video so that you can use this. It will help you get things set up properly with the hanging indent and all of that stuff. And we, again, like I said, we'll talk more about it next week. But I wanted you to have this ability to be looking for this stuff so that you can keep good notes and not basically save yourself some headaches down the road. All right. I'm sorry that this weekly walkthrough was very long, but it's an important one. So hopefully this helps you. And I hope you guys have a great week. If you have any questions, of course, reach out at any time.